Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The United Nations has warned that the freezing of some $10 billion worth in Afghan assets to keep it out of Taliban hands would cause a severe economic downturn and could push millions into poverty and hunger. Kabul traders have said they were dismayed by the slow pace of business despite an improvement in the security situation weeks after the Taliban had swept to power. A report from the UNDP showed 97% of Afghan's population may sink below the poverty line unless the country's political and economic crises are addressed. US President Joe Biden has announced sweeping new COVID-19 measures that require workers at large companies to be vaccinated or face weekly testing.
This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
He has announced that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees to ensure that their workforces are fully vaccinated or show a negative test at least once a week. The measures also include a vaccine mandate for millions of federal government workers and comes as cases in the country are surging.
My message to unvaccinated Americans is this: what more is there to wait for? What more do you need to see? We've made vaccinations free, safe, and convenient. The vaccine has FDA approval. Over 200 million Americans have gotten at least one shot. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
The Russian energy giant Gazprom has declared it has finished the construction of the Nord Stream 2 gas subsea pipeline to Germany. The much politicized pipeline will double Russia's gas exporting capacity to Europe via the Baltic Sea and will allow Moscow to bypass Ukraine as a major route for its lucrative gas exports to Europe. Russia and Belarus have been holding vast joint military drills in both countries. Footage shows jets in the air, various tanks driving, charging and firing, as well as ships firing. The military exercise has prompted condemnation in the NATO military alliance and European Union countries. Russia and Belarus are formally part of a union state and have been in talks for years to further integrate their nations. Footage has been released showing Hurricane Olaf's winds and rain in the southern tip of Mexico's Baja California peninsula. The video was taken in the resort of Cabo San Lucas and shows strong winds and waves on the beach as well as rains battering the streets. Olaf is forecast to continue moving toward the northwest on Friday and weaken over the weekend as it moves over land. Chinese President Xi Jinping has spoken with his US counterpart Joe Biden on the phone for the first time in 7 months. A White House statement said both leaders had discussed the responsibility of both nations to ensure competition does not veer into conflict. This is only the second call between them since President Biden took office. US-China relations have been tense with clashes over issues like trade, espionage and the pandemic. A video that appears to show US soldiers driving among crowds of people in the Guinean capital Conakry has been fueling speculation that America had some involvement in this week's coup. The video shows people yelling and greeting American soldiers who are smiling back and have assured they have not been involved in it. US service members were doing a joint training exercise outside Guinea and had to go back to the US embassy in Conakry. Japan's popular coronavirus vaccination minister Taro Kono has officially announced his candidacy to lead the ruling party and therefore become the next prime minister. Kono becomes the third candidate to throw his hat into the ring for the leadership of the Liberal Democratic Party, which opened up last week when Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga said he would step down. Speaking at a news conference in Tokyo, Kono portrayed himself as a reformer, taking on red tape and bureaucracy. And finally, a zoo in Sydney has welcomed 2 baby bilbies, which are endangered animals. Bilbies are believed to have inhabited Australia for up to 15 million years and were once found across 70% of Australia's landmass, according to Bush Heritage Australia. Zookeepers hope to use them as part of a breeding program or to release them back into the wild. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.